Green light is on. Hey, my name's Gary. It looks like the microphones are working right, and it looks like I am streaming. I finally pop up in the other window. Very exciting. Tonight we are going to be playing way too much music that I'm not prepared for. So could be a rough night. Out of book one, we're doing Brother John, the first song in book one, and then we're following that up with Three Blind Mice, talking about tough axe or fingerstyle guitar. Book two, Drunken Sailor, we'll be talking about how to transpose. Book two, Go Tell Aunt Rhody, a very basic song, but it's in the right key to make you learn that key. And the Beautiful Dreamer, I had the new copy of that a couple weeks back, and I've been playing it tonight. Little bit tough on the pinky, and then we're digging into Brahms Lullabye and Danny Boy. I can't remember if we talked about Brahms Lullabye 2 weeks ago or not, but we'll talk about it again. And then I have Sagreras Book 1, numbers 38 through 42. I was just working them just now, and holy mackerel, they're hard. So Sagreras is getting serious on it. All these pages of kind of boring stuff, and then all of a sudden, bam, here, tab some of this. And then, of course, Carulli, Opus 241, numbers 1 and 2, which you guys probably know. I'm maddened by Carulli. I just think Opus 241 is the best guitar book ever written. And both of the Etudes tonight, number 1 and number 2, are challenging and kind of fun to play. All in the key of C, of course. That's where we start in music. But the fun part is that the opening sections are in the key of C, of course, and then he switches into A minor, like he does often in his Etudes. And so it should be a fun night, a lot of music. We're going to just mostly play tonight. LG is in and Vic is in. They both are telling me the sound looks good, so we're getting ready to start. And as always, we only have a couple of people that attend online live, and then we have lots of people who watch these videos afterwards. And so if you're watching the video, the recording of this, thank you for that. Hopefully this is helpful. Toss me an email if you find it interesting, or toss me an email. I don't know. Who cares if you don't like it? It is what it is. All right. All right. Let's go through these. Won't spend much time talking about them tonight because we've been through these a bit in the past. And let's start with Brother John. Obviously, the purpose of Brother John is to learn how to read tablature, and so most of you are already there. But if you're not, string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're upside down on the page, and then the numbers on the guitar melody line tell you which fret to hold down. So let's give it a try from the top. And remember, we repeat at measure 8, go back to the top, come back down, skip measure 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out there, it becomes so quiet that you can't hear it, right? Let those last notes ring out. And can you believe it? Some of you, this is exactly where you started, right? And this was hard in the beginning, and now you're just reading tablature. All right, page 2, Three Blind Mice. Three Blind Mice, let's remember we're playing in the G chord, right? Three blind mice, three blind mice. See how they run and and so on, right? There's only one chord, and getting that G on. Remember, you have three kinds of Gs. You have index, middle, and ring. This is one I like to let people learn first. I can then take my ring finger, move it up one string, put my pinky on there, and get a fancier G, a little more punchy. Oftentimes, we'll just forget the ring finger and use index, middle, and pinky. Okay, and then my ring finger's not actually doing anything there. The other one that's very important to remember, middle, ring, and pinky. Okay, that leaves your index finger open. And all of those are G's, but now there are many songs that are going to require you to hit this A note here, and so having your alternate G on allows you to hit that note. And then finally, for those of you who are more advanced players, you remember your E chord. It's not that. There it is. If I slide it up one and add a bar, it becomes an F chord. And if I slide it up two more, it becomes a G chord. So there's this G chord. Or the one I want you to know, that chord. Okay, all of those are G chords. All right, let's play the melody line. 1, 2, ready, play. And 15 is really hard to find if you haven't figured it out. Taught this song in class last week, and so I took time to find my 15. Okay. Now for the tough acts, remember you're just strumming down over the strings that it says, and then rest stroke is stopping on the string as if it's going to stop on a hammock on the strings you're not going to play. Okay. So together from the top, 1, 2, 3. Funny, I could tell my finger was going down on the wrong string, and I still did it anyway. You just feel it. You're just like, you're going to do this wrong. Clonk. Okay. So you got the idea. The tough acts is combining part of the G chord and the melody line, plus some decorative notes in there, and all of a sudden you're playing fingerstyle. This is your first fingerstyle piece. The first one is just a melody line teaching you how to read tablature. This second song in the book gets you started on fingerstyle right away. And if you are in book one, as I know a few of you are probably checking in from my class, this is a lot. Once we get this, you're set for life. But it's not easy. And so next week we'll play this again, and then we'll add in Farmer in the Dell. Farmer in the Dell is the dumbest song ever, but it has a really perfect setup to teach us how to play fingerstyle with A chord. Okay, so there's that. Hey, Yago, good to see you, bud. All right, so now he managed to miss Three Blind Mice, you guys. Should we let him stay? Let's go take a peek at Drunken Sailor. All right, now, 2 weeks ago I said pick a key, pick whichever key you want. So if you want to toss one in the chat bar of what your favorite key in Drunken Sailor is, we'll do it in your key. And if you don't want to put anything in the chat bar, perfectly fine. I'll pick a key for us. So I'd say for sure let's do the one on page on the main page. Okay, so that's going to be A chord, A minor, going to G chord. Vic likes E minor D. Okay. All right, so let's start with A minor G. Okay. Okay. And it doesn't matter, right? You go dun da da dun da da dum 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 dum, or you can do bum da da bum ba da bum bum bum, or you can do wa da da wa 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 da wa da. Now all those are fine, whatever those work. Okay, so let's do A minor into G, and I'll just do claw this first time. Okay, 1, 2, ready, go. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lie in the morning, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, up she rises, hooray, up she rises, lie in the morning. For me, that's an okay key, right? It's not too high, not too low. My voice is sort of being able to do it. And so I'm like, all right, probably if I do this again, that's probably why it's in this key on the front page anyway, is I tried all these other keys. I'm like, I can probably pull this one off the best. When you're not a great singer, you got to be very keen as to what keys you're going to be playing in, because it's going to be hard enough as it is if you're not a great singer, and then to be in a weird key that's hard to do may not just makes your life a lot more miserable. All right, so that is A minor G. Now let's take exactly the same song, and let's go with Vic's idea, E minor into D. Okay, now that's a lot of motion there, right? I mean, it's not A minor going to G. Felt like a lot of motion. Now we've got E minor. And that sounds even more piratey in my head. Okay, let's just use the same words, okay? 1, 2, ready, go. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Lie in the morning, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, hooray, and up she rises, lie in the morning. Now it feels too low for my voice, but again, remember, you have octave choices, and so some of you, while that's a pretty low key on the guitar, you might be able to sing an octave higher than your guitar, and then it might be really in your wheelhouse. So pretty nice. Okay, so the idea with transposing and the idea with this song is, hey, you got 2 chords, you know, and you don't like that key, then you just got to find its 2 friends in a different key. So, and we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So A minor, A, treated as an A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it's the 7th, okay? So A minor to G is 7. So if I go E minor, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, okay, E minor, D is what you have. And so that makes sense. And then the last one that we won't do tonight is D minor, C. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? So again, it's all the 1 and the 7s, and that's really, really true in minor keys. You're going to see a lot of 7th chords in whatever minor key you're playing, because, yeah, I mean, you can just hear it. If I do the D minor C, there's D minor, and here's its 7th. See, that sounds like it needs to go back to, right? So that's why you see those 7th chords hanging around with minor 1st chords all the time, because they really work together. Sounds really cool. All right, that's all you care about with the Drunken Sailor. I wouldn't spend any time at all worried about the tough acts or really even the melody so much, unless you're playing in an ensemble situation. Just have fun with that song and move on with it. Let's go look at Goldtail Aunt Rhody. This was my down the hall neighbor's favorite song, a favorite American song. She was from Germany, and this was one of her favorite American songs. I don't know why, but she loved it. Now remember, you're in C. And now when you go to your 5 chord, which in this case is the G chord, sometimes it'll be a G7, but on this particular arrangement it's not, okay? So you're just going to need to get from G to C. I was watching one of the Hollywood groups of people coming around, and they had, I think it was Adam Sandler playing guitar, and he's doing just this. Here's your C chord. These 2 fingers go up to the G chord and your pinky comes down. That gives you the G chord, and then of course put your index finger back down, drop these 2 fingers down, C chord. This is a very common thing for singers to use, because if you drop these two fingers one more, now you have a sort of a cool F chord, right? Or you can flatten this out and straighten it. Okay. So you have that C, F, G thing, and really the main idea is your middle and ring finger are here, here, or here, and then you just have to make some minor adjustments with your pinky and index finger, and then you can play with a capo in all of the keys. So you'll see that a lot when you're watching famous people play guitar. You will see them, and when they're singing particularly, using that chord progression makes a lot of sense. You learn one chord setup, and then you just put the capo where your voice is happiest. Okay, so quickly, so in case you don't know the melody, let's play it by chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go tell Aunt Rhody, oh go tell Aunt Rhody, oh go tell Aunt Rhody, the old gray goose is dead. Okay, so a really pleasant little tune, with a dead goose, and and the babies are now orphans. So those are your chords, and that's the basic melody. Let's play the melody. You peek through, just make sure there's nothing going to trip you up. It's 1s and 3s and 0s. So remember, index and probably ring or pinky. If you're working on your pinky, which you should always be working on your pinky, don't use your ring on the 3s. Just use your pinky in the 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat it 4 times. Okay, and then ideally you have a friend, they play the chord, you play the melody, everybody has a good time. All right, tough acts when you've got to do both jobs. So grab your C chord, strum down, O3, that's your pinky. So I haven't lifted up my C chord at all yet. Hit the C chord again. Okay, my note here says alternate G, so that means middle ring and then pinky on the 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd fret. And notice, now look at that one. I got to get that one in there, but I don't have to lift up any of these fingers. back to your C chord. Pinky. More, another one. Pinky on, still on the C chord, haven't lifted it up yet. Index finger, back to your normal C chord. Alternate G with your pinky on the second string. Index finger on 1, back to the 3. Open, and then back to your C chord. And then you see all the time in my arrangements, boom, 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 because those help pick you back up into that repeat. Very common thing to do, you know, boom, 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 go tell. And so you'll see those a lot in all arrangements. Is when you have a nice long note and you're playing fingerstyle, you're going to toss in some extra notes there, either going up or going down, and almost always as part of the chord you're already holding. It just works. Okay, so next week let's play through that with some amount of skill, hopefully, and ignore the arpeggio lines. All of those are going to get deleted from book 2 because I don't really want you to read arpeggio lines. I decided after publishing the last edition, I really want you just to play them, hold the chord, and just play whatever makes sense. In this case, they're all going up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go tell Aunt Rhody, oh go tell Aunt Rhody, oh go tell Aunt Rhody, the old gray goose is dead. Right, and so that's what you're doing there. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what the paperwork says, and I think that it's smarter to just learn those by knowing the chords and then picking a pattern with your right hand. Not going to really matter what the pattern is. I was listening to the Rocky Mountain Ukulele Orchestra concert on yesterday, and Kenny was playing a solo piece, but he had his right hand just dialed in, and it was just going to town doing arpeggio picking. Sounded really, really nice, and so something for you to work on. Even if you're a crummy singer, it helps cover up your crummy singing, right? All right, so next week, go tell Aunt Rhody. By the way, we are going to have some changes coming to the schedule. I'm still working on it, trying to figure out what the best thing is so that I don't have to constantly send you out an email saying, sorry, we're not meeting this week. And as soon as I know how I'm going to be doing that, I'll let you guys know, obviously, by sending you out an email. I don't think guitar is going to change from this time slot. I don't think. So let's see. Beautiful Dreamer, Book 3. All right, this is a really long, really hard song, and so let's do our best with it. Remember, this will be our last week of this, by the way. Play down to 22 and come back to number 12, okay? And then the second time through, you're going to play all the way down to the end of page 3, number 45, okay? So you play top twice, middle once. Then you're going to go back and repeat that whole process. So we're going to play the top 2 more times and the middle a second time. Okay? And then once we played that middle the second time, we will just cruise on through to the end. Okay? So twice on top, once in the middle. Twice more on top, once in the middle, finish. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay? And with this one, because it's such a pinky exercise, and just take your time. Let's not go fast. Okay, and let's break every rule that my college professor told me. You can slide your pinky from 5 to 4 and back, unless you're really good. Unless your ring finger is really cooperative, then do the pinky, ring, pinky. All right, 1, 2. Oh, it's in 3. Yeah, so it's not about that fast. Is fine. 1, 2, 3. 12. I'll fix it next time, Dennis. Just keep going. 23. Go. Blew it, you guys. From number 12 again, please. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. Too many mistakes in there, but you got the idea, right? And I think, does that say 12 or 13 there? It should be to number 12. So 45, I think it says to number 13, and it should say to number 12. And then I think a couple of places I was just adding in fill, and it was helping me, like at measure 13 and 14, and those similarly situated. Just toss in a couple of extra arpeggio notes, help you count through there. The page breaks here are brutal, and I should have turned on my foot pedal because it feels like they are exactly where you're not 100% sure what's coming on the next page. Anyway, there's Beautiful Dreamer. You got the basic idea. Play that one. It's a nice song. It's a really good pinky workout. Let's take a look at Brahms. I can't remember if we talked about this last week or not, but we'll talk about it right now. This is our three favorite chords: A chord, D chord, and E chord, but this in case it's E7. Back to A. Okay. 1, 2, lullaby and good night, with roses be dyed, with lilies be spread, his babies we bed, lay you down now and rest, may your slumbers be blessed, lay you down now and rest, may your slumbers be blessed. Repeat. Okay, so those are lovely chords. My note on here from the olden times says different key, right? But I'm better. I've gotten to be a better singer. not quite as terrible as it used to be. Still pretty bad. So you know the melody. We don't need to go through the melody. The only thing I will tell you about the melody-wise is you're now in the key of A, which means there's probably not going to be any ones. Okay, and as I look through the melody, there's no ones, right? You just learn these things. Okay, so since there's no ones, play in second position. Okay, and now when you see a 2, your index goes down. When you see a 3, your middle finger goes down. When you see a 5, your pinky goes down. And when you're playing melody, there are no other numbers, right? So it's just 2, 3s, and 5s. And so you can cover your whole fretboard just by switching positions. That way you're not constantly doing this kind of thing, jumping back and forth around, moving all around. Just play in second position and tell your fingers to obey what your mind has to tell you. When it says 2, press this one instead of usually we press the middle one. Okay, let's look at the tough acts. Okay, and again, forget the arpeggios if you want to make this sound beautiful. It's probably a 6-beat. 1, 1 and 2 and lullaby, lullaby. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Lullaby and good night. The roses be dyed, with lilies be spread, 'tis babies we bed. Do something like that, even something just as basic as that for your arpeggios. I've given you 1, 2, 3. Lullaby and good night. Da da dum 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 da da dum. And I don't know, that feels very lumbering and slow. So find an arpeggio that works for you when you're singing that and practice that a little bit. From the tough acts perspective, let's just play and see what happens. Grab your A chord. 1, 2. So big thing here again, getting your pinky to cooperate. That's a pretty hard one to talk it into, because you've got any number of times you've got this stretch and even this E7 with this down here to 4 at one point. So I think that's doable. E7 with your 4, pinky up on 4. So we'll keep this as another week, but trying to get this as smooth as you can. We've been talking in my classes about practice time. The last 30% of your practicing should be practicing stuff that's too easy for you, and just trying to get smooth with it. And so, not that Brahms Lullabye is easy, but it is one of these songs where you want to be smooth because you're trying to put the baby to sleep, right? And so the more you play it and just the more you talk your fingers into doing what they need to do, I think that's time well worth spending. So another week on Brahms Lullabye. Now let's go peek at Danny Boy. One mistake, or well, a couple of things that'll have you change in the sheet music if we didn't already talk about it. On measure 13, note number 1, 2, 3. The fourth note is a 5 on the first string. I would definitely play that as a 10 on the second string. Okay, so again, Danny Boy, measure 13. The fifth note over is a 5 on the first string. I would for sure play that as a 10 on the second string. That way you can continue to hold that 7 bar and just put your pinky up on 10. Okay, and then immediately after that, and then you got to get down to your regular D chord downstairs. And then the other note to myself is on measure 18. I've got it down as a final A chord. Okay, but it sounds way better if you'll do that 2-2-2-5-1. Okay, because again, your A note right there is just going to sound so much better. Okay. All right, let's walk through it. You know the tune, and again, these are simple chords: A, D, and E7. So if you want to sing it, there you go. Singing this one's fun. Clear up until measure 13 when you have to hit that super high note, and not that many people in the world can pull it off. All right, so let's just talk tough uke here, tough acts for a second. Index, middle, open, A chord. Ring finger up and then back. Down to the high 2, back. And then you just lift up your index and ring. Pinky up there on 4. Pinky on the 3. Regular A chord. Ring finger. Regular A. 2, 2, 2. E7. And you can do what it says. Okay? Either you can do the glissando or just pluck everybody, whichever you like. You got to move your middle finger here. Sorry. Where am I? Here I am. Ah. Move the middle finger. Move it again. A chord. Ring finger. Open. Fingers up. Pinky. Pinky. A chord. Decoration, decoration. So right there, measure 8, that's a very show busy moment. When you hit that last A chord, the first A chord in 8, hit the 2, and then you want to hit that A string hard, right? And then jump, don't let that ring out, but jump right in on the 0-2-4, and it just creates a showbiz feel to it, right? Like you're really getting excited for page 2. Then on to measure 9, put your 5 down. Now this is this technique here I had to teach myself very specifically to do this one activity. So I'm going to hit that with the 5. I'm going to hit that while I hit that 4. I'm putting on my D chord underneath it, and then losing the 4. Okay, so again, you're starting with the A chord, pinky on 5. 4 comes down, D chord at the same time. No 4. A chord. Bar chord. 4 D chord. slide back to get that 2. And then here's your E7 again. Move your middle finger. And there's the one you have to memorize. Bar on 9, C shape in front. Slide to this bar down to the 7. Pinky up on 10 of the 2nd string. And then dive down to your D chord. Pinky on 5. A chord. 1, 2, 0. A chord. Ring. Pinky. Repeated. When we play this on a harmonica, we do those 3/8 notes as triplets, right? So kind of go fast and kick yourself back up to number 1 as quickly as you can. And then the ending is just your usual A chord ending. Use your pinky on that. Maybe put that last 0 there that I have on the top. You use that. Bong. All right, so that's Danny Boy. That should be one that's again part of your repertoire. It's just a really nice song. I don't think we talked about it in much detail last time. Maybe we did, but anyway. So one more week on Brahms and Danny Boy, and then we'll see how things are going after that. All right, so that's book 3. So now, how are we doing on time? Not too bad. So let's go grab Sagreras. And boy, I was playing Sagreras this afternoon. Oi, 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 this is a hard page. Okay, so let's go to measures 38. And the fun part about this is we have been doing all this index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. And now we get to this place where we're going to be putting it together in much more complicated fashion. So I want you to, first off, put your C chord on. Okay, we'll walk through it just a little bit, and then you're going to go thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb. So let's just do that as that speed together. And remember, you're trying to do your thumb as an open stroke and your index and middle alternating as rest strokes. Okay, so he just cranked up the difficulty to number 11 compared to what you've been playing. So from measure 365, very slowly, go. Thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, middle, yep, nope, middle, it's a 1, middle, then thumb, index, thumb, thumb. I'm goofing it up, guys. Let me start from the beginning. All right, sorry, I got one note wrong and I couldn't get back on track. Thumb, index. Ready? Go. Thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb. Where's the note? Thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb. I want to try to do it one more time. Okay, this is a lot. Okay, here we go. Go. Thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb. Yeah, that's a lot, right? All right, then you have to play exactly the same thing, but you're going to play it with rhythm in number 39. So it's going to be ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Let's see if we can do it. See if we can come even close. Ready, go. Same thing again. Don't look at my fingering. It's terrible. Ready, go. It's almost better if I go faster, right? Because I'm trying to overthink it otherwise. And try to do your rest strokes on those. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But try. Right, see what you do. Okay, measure 40. I'm sorry, etude number 40 at measure 375. This is another one of these arpeggio attempts. Okay, so let's give it a try. If you look at the standard notation, your head melts, right? Because there's a half note and then 2 quarter notes. Really, just treat everybody as a quarter note and just let them ring. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, oh, oh. Cool part on this one is the 303. Make sure you're using ring and pinky on that, and I think everything else works pretty simply. Okay, and all free stroke. So one more time, go. 3, 2, oh, 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 2, oh, 1, 3, oh, oh, 2, oh, 1, oh, 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 2. Then the next etude, number 41, is the same thing, except just the rhythmic elements change a little bit. It's chunk, 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 boom, chunk, chunk. So same notes, just in a different pattern. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. 3, chunk, chunk, oh, chunk, chunk, 2, chunk, chunk, 3, chunk, chunk, 2, chunk, chunk, oh, chunk, chunk, 2. And you'll know that that comes up in classical music all of the time, especially the earlier classical music where you're doing a ton of that type of stuff. And then 42, combining some new elements here. Again, try to get your thumb as an open stroke, free stroke, and then try to do index middle. Try, okay? So you're starting with a 2 and a 1 on here. So it's really sort of an A minor 7th beginning. 1, 2. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Free strokes when I'm really trying to get them as rest strokes, but you see that all of a sudden the difficulty level went from pretty difficult to crazy difficult, right? And so good page for me to work on for sure. I don't know how you did. And then next week we finally finish up the first 45, and then we're just going to keep rolling through these each time we get together. I think one page at a time is plenty, right? And this would be a really good piece to warm your hands up with. All right, let's go take a look at Carulli. Last time we hung around together, we did number 1, and we should be able to pull that off now, I hope. Grab your C chord and boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, boom, chuck, chuck, ba da da, boom, chuck, chuck. That's how you want to think about it. And somewhere my sunset alarm is going off. It's been raining here all day. We haven't had rain in months, and now it's rained all day, and it's freezing here. That's why I'm wearing a sweatshirt, hoodie, sweatshirt. From the top, 3 beat count in. 1, 2, 3. Go. That's how you play that, more or less. Okay, except for all the mistakes, that's how you play that. All right, pretty good, pretty nice little tune. If you played that for somebody, they'd know you're playing real legit classical music. All right, let's take a look at Opus 241, number 2. And this one looks crazy on the paper. Like the last one we were playing was just all eighth notes. This one looks like, oh my gosh, look at all these 16th notes. It feels super fast. But if you look at the time signature in the first song, I'm set it at eighth note equals 160. And so that's super fast. I'd probably change that to a dotted quarter note equals something these days. And then, but on this one, it goes quarter note equals 80, and even that's probably too fast, right? So don't take those 16th notes as a sign that you should play super fast. Those 16th notes are just a way to get stuff to fit onto one page, okay? And so if you take a look at this, again, you're still in the key of C, so start with your C chord on it, and I bet you lots of the stuff will already be there. Okay, so it's bum, bum, pinky, bum, bump, and then this is going to be quite a bit faster. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. And again, it's all C chord. I haven't needed to move anything yet, except add my pinky on at the end of measure 1. And then now, when you get here, you've got to pay attention because you've got a 2 holding down on this 4th string, but it's calling for a 0 there. So that's going to be a little G7 is really what's going on there. And then back to your C chord. And then you've got just a regular G chord here, but don't make the full chord, just do 0. Okay, and then the same thing in measure 5. Use your pinky to get to 3. open, index, middle, ring. Okay, you notice my ring was too far back in the fret, so I got to move it up forward. Okay, let's repeat and go to the top. Classical music, they probably would have said, okay, performers go. Okay, whichever makes you happiest. Isn't that lovely? That's just lovely. Okay, now put your index finger down, keep going. Move your index. 2 3s with your ring and pinky, and then remember to lift them up there. C chord, and then repeat the whole idea. C chord. Go back to 9, go. Ring and pinky, nothing. C chord. It'll be a G7, this will be a C. F, open. That's a G, really. Okay, sounds pretty nice there. And try to just be nice and consistent. And speed, whatever speed you pick, just try to keep it steady. Okay, and then we will no doubt drop into minor key here. So when you see that 2, that tells you A is coming in, right? So probably A minor is what you're thinking of here. So, and you notice you're back to 8th note, so much slower. Repeat that section. Keep going. E7, A minor. E7, A minor, and D minor. Okay, one thought here before we repeat. On the end of 31 you hit a low E. Okay, that's going to be your E7 chord, taking advantage of this moment, and then it's going to go back to your A minor with the O2 O. You want to put your thumb on that E string to get it to shut up. Okay, so play it at 31, and then when you're getting into measure 32, just get your thumb up there to turn it off. Okay, again, back to 25. 1, ready, go. ESL Fine A. So we're going to go back to the top, and we're going to play all the way down through 16. We won't do that now because we're out of time. But you got the idea, right? And the second time, when you go back up to the top and repeat, you ignore all the repeats. You just play from Segno to Fine and ignore those repeats. That's a pretty intense song for number 2 in an instructional book, and lots of beautiful tones there. Don't get in a hurry with it. Next week we'll play it super slow, and we'll move on from number 1 and we'll add number 3 in there. Okay, and yeah, be thinking about it as a performer more than just a person knocking these notes out. But how would you make the dynamics work? How would you make the flow of the song work? How would you make some notes fit into a certain idea more than other notes and that type of thing? So it's a lot of fun to build a song that's supposed to be classical music, dun, 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 like you play it at the university, versus how a performer would play it, trying to get some emotion out of the song. I think those two should be the same thing, but they're really not. So, all right, guys, thanks for everything. Long class, lots of music. Hopefully, some note in there made sense to you, and I hope you had a fun time tonight. I will see all of you. Pay attention to your emails because I'm going to try to figure out a different schedule. I ended up with a job, and so I have to try to figure out how to keep writing music. And and so it's been too much. I just can't keep up with everything, and so I want to keep doing this as best I can, but I also need to make sure that I'm getting new things written for you guys, and so that involves rethinking the schedule just a little bit. So have a wonderful evening. Thanks for everything. I'll see you soon. Peace.